Hey, namaste and welcome to our channel. We have discussed many sequences by now, but today we will learn how to create a peak pose yoga sequence for intermediate students, and the peak pose will be Virabhadrasana and its different variations by Tummee.com, a yoga sequencing app for yoga teachers. So we are discussing yoga sequences for intermediate students. As yoga teachers, we can take the decision to teach a peak pose class, but what kind of a peak pose? Because we are still teaching students who are on the route to developing strong legs and arms, we can think of a pose like Virabhadrasana, which requires stamina, stability, strong legs, that is, strong knee joints and ankle joints, and a sense of body alignment. Such sequences should have a good combination of warm ups, hip openers, balance poses, and then do the peak pose, followed by counter poses and relaxation. The sequence is divided into three parts. Part 1, warm-ups and balancing poses. Part 2, peak poses with series and variations. Part 3, counter poses and cool-down pose. So in the warm-up section, we plan for getting the upper body active by doing lateral bends, back bends, and few rounds of Surya Namaskar. So we start with Urdhva Hastasana, where we get the upper body prepared for different alignments required in Virabhadrasana and its series. So if you see Virabhadrasana 1 requires the upper body to take this type of alignment, and also this pose helps students gain breath awareness. Followed by Urdhva Namaskar and Parshva Urdhva Hastasana on both sides of the body. The lateral bends help students to focus on proper body alignment, which is required for Virabhadrasana, and it helps in expansion of the chest and opening the rib cage for better breathing. Next, we head to gentle warm-ups like hip rotation, because the hip alignment in Virabhadrasana and its series is important. Like in Warrior 1, the hip is facing forward, that is towards the bent knee, while in Warrior 2, the hips are facing side, which is away from the bent knee. Besides this, Virabhadrasana series are hip openers, so we gently prepare our hips for higher level poses. After which, students do standing side bend variation, giving a stretch to the hips, which also helps in increasing its flexibility to do the peak pose fairly easily. Then students do Anuvittanasana, preparing students for Viparita Virabhadrasana. This pose also gets students to focus on breathing, gain a sense of stability and balance because of the back bend, and also opens up the psoas muscles. And taking this a little more deep, students can do Baddha Hasta Utthita Sthiti Salabhasana, a deeper back bend, and mainly to increase the confidence of students. But if you feel students might find this uncomfortable, you can opt not to do it. Next, Urdhva Hastottanasana, to allow all the blood flowing to the brain to start flowing down and gain more confidence with their balance. This is followed by few rounds of Surya Namaskar. It's always a great warm up, and it opens up all the muscles and allows good blood circulation. So you can choose to do few rounds of it, so students have created space in their muscles for flow of energy to those regions. This was with regard to warm-ups for the sequence. It was a set of standing warm-ups because warrior pose is a standing hip opener. So we covered warm-ups, and now we focus on balancing poses. We include such poses so that students get prepared for poses like Viparita Virabhadrasana and Virabhadrasana 3, which are the balancing poses in the series. These poses are glute engaging poses. We start with standing wind release pose followed by Vrikshasana. Both the poses are about breathing, gaze, which also helps in balancing and to develop confidence in students. Next, students do Parivritta Hasta Padangoshtasana. It's a twist pose, so it helps in gaining more balance, but it also helps students understand what is interlocking of hips, which is a part of Virabhadrasana series. Students can choose to use the wall only for resting one arm on the wall, but they should be encouraged to do it without any kind of support. Next, students do Parivritta Utkatasana, again a twist pose developing balance, but also strengthening the hip muscles because it's a squat pose. All these poses are done on the other side of the body, starting from standing wind release pose to Parivritta Utkatasana. Now we have prepared the body for doing the main part of the class. After such poses, if students want to relax, let them rest in Tadasana. The next part we will cover Virabhadrasana and its series, its variations. So click on the end card and head to the next part. Thank you and see you there.